Hello everyone and welcome back to Full House Sports here with myself, Charlie. Right, it is time to address the elephant in the room, the Jake Paul, Tank Davis sized elephant in the room. The press conference was last night and the fight has been officially made. It looks like it is going to go ahead. There was rumours that it wasn't going to go ahead. The Georgia Athletic Commission refusing to sanction the bout. The fight was initially supposed to be in Atlanta, Georgia. It now looks like it's being held in Florida. They have said, the Florida Athletic Commission, they will sanction the fight under a very specific rule set. So it is an exhibition bout, so it will count towards neither man's professional record. I'm not actually entirely sure how much of Jake Paul's record is exhibitions and how much is official fights, because I didn't think the Mike Tyson fight was an official fight, but I think that has counted towards his pro record. I don't know what the circumstances are of that. For Tank Davis, obviously, it means he can remain unbeaten even if he loses the fight, which is another important point to come on to, because according to Most Valuable Promotions chairman, chief executive, he has said that there will be an official winner in the bout announced afterwards. The fight will take place in 12-ounce gloves. Obviously, Tank usually fights in 8-ounce gloves as a pro world champion. Jake Paul, I think his last few fights have taken place with 10-ounce gloves. So that's something interesting to look into. Does that take away any hope of Tank knocking him out with the extra padding? Potentially. And there is a weight limit of 88 kilos. I'm not entirely sure what Tank will go into the fight weighing. I think that he was asked about it last night. It then became a bit of a showy sort of playground name calling where they said about Tank's previous record, criminal record, and Jake Paul brought in the clowns, and it was very silly and very daft and very typical of Jake Paul. The reason I want to talk about this video is not actually because of Jake Paul, because as a massive boxing fan, I want to keep his name as far away from my mouth as possible, But it's more to do with Tank, and I thought the way he came across last night was really, really poor. He said at one point, I think in the press conference, that basically, who cares? I think somebody asked him, a British journalist asked him, you know, what's your reaction to people saying about you taking the Lamont Roach rematch, about you potentially fighting Shakur Stevenson, about all these fights that could have took place, and his reaction was essentially, who cares? I don't care. I don't care what the fans think. So for me, that was a really terrible outlook. And let's face it, Tank's not exactly the most well-supported boxer with the recent things that have come out about his personal life. And I'm not one to judge a fighter on their personal life. I'm not one to judge an athlete on their personal life. You know, their skills are separate from that. He's a very skillful and very talented boxer. But for someone who's not exactly full of friends in the boxing game, to say that, I felt was very insulting to fans and very just arrogant. You know, and again, I said it about Canelo the other day, but the one thing that you've got to give credit to Canelo for, when I was talking about him on my video, is he has fought everyone. He's never ducked anyone. With Tank, if this is the end of Tank, because he said that he's going to retire soon, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I think he's 30 now, so whether it's true or not, you don't know. If that is the case, that he's going to retire soon, then where does that leave his legacy? He's never took on Shakur, Devin Haney. Obviously, I know he beat Ryan Garcia. That's probably his best win and was a very good win. But you've got to look at it and say, where's that leave him? Where's that leave his legacy? I think as for the fight, I think it will be another clown show. There's no way, in my opinion, with these rules, Tank will get anywhere near Jake Paul. I think it'll be a very dull, drab affair. Potentially Jake Paul will win, actually, just purely for the size. And I think the glove size is a really key thing. I think that's took away any hope of Tank separating Jake Paul from his consciousness. Potentially not. I know people have said, sparring partners have said Tank's power is freakish, but you have to wonder where that's going to go with the extra 4 ounce in the gloves. He might knock Jake Paul out, but he's 5'5", and I think the height really showed last night in the face-off. Listen, I'm not a fan of it. I heard as well last night that Jake Paul versus KSI is going to happen next year at Madison Square Garden. Is that maybe a sign that they're not expecting to win this fight? Because you'd have thought, logically, Jake Paul would look at this fight, take this one, and then I was convinced, and I think there was others convinced, that potentially the Canelo fight would have opened up because of what Canelo's loss to Terence Crawford has left him sort of in this awkward middle ground of wanting money fights, but potentially them not really being out there for him. I thought that was destined to happen. I think there was others who said that as well. But now, does that indicate that that's not happening? Are they expecting to maybe not win this Tank fight and him go back to fighting someone like KSI, who's a YouTuber and a semi-pro, I guess? That's insulting to amateur boxers, to be honest. But I don't know. I'm not really, like I say, into the influencer boxing or the YouTuber boxing. I'm more into just real boxing. And the fact that Tank's taking this fight, I think, is an indication of where he is in his career, where he's either... I'd never accuse a professional fighter of ducking, but he's either ducking fights or he's just interested in making as much money as he can and getting out. And if that's the case, then so be it. At least he's honest about it, you know. But I think he'll be probably one of the more forgettable lightweight champions in years to come, which would be a real shame because he's so entertaining to watch. And he's got dynamite in his fists, especially that left hand. But it looks to me like that's not gonna really be seen much more in a boxing ring. Anyways, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Please give the video a like. Please look through my channel and please subscribe. Thank you very much for everything. Have a great day. See you.